Hey everybody, I'm Luca and welcome to A Culinary Journey. I'm going to be your host on a journey that I actually took to the island of Puerto Rico. See, my dad lives in Puerto Rico, so I went to visit him down there. And the first thing I said to him is, Dad, I don't want to eat at the regular places where all the tourists go. I want you to bring me to places that you would go to and your friends would go to. And boy, was I scared. Not really. It was incredible. I got to see all these great ingredients and these great items that I would never have tried to stop it on my own. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to be doing Arroz con Gandules, which is basically pigeon peas with rice, and not pigeons as in, you'll see. There's a lot of cool things about it. So it's a rice and peas dish that's wonderful with a little bit of ham. And then we're doing pinchos. Pinchos are basically skewers of chicken thighs, my favorite ingredient meat-wise in the world, chicken thighs. They're delicious, they're tender, they're the filet mignon of the chicken. So we're going to be doing those pinchos, little skewers. Then we're going to be grinding out a beautiful paste and marinade for the skewers. And then we're going to be making a rice dish using a couple of traditional Spanish ingredients. You're going to absolutely love this culinary journey. And it starts now. Welcome everybody back to A Culinary Journey. We're taking a culinary journey to Puerto Rico. So when I was down there visiting my dad, I said, Dad, take me to all these cool places that you'd go to eat. Not, there's a million McDonald's there already. But I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go. So we were driving along the beaches and everything, and we get to this one place where they serve pinchos. These are roadside stands that cook a lot of things like bacalaíto, which is a fried codfish, a lot of stuffed fried items. And they had these pinchos, which were on skewers, and they were amazing. I had like 5, 6, maybe more, but we won't go into that. But they were incredible, so I wanted to show you exactly what a pinchos is. Now, what you need for the ingredients are a little paste that we're going to be making with garlic, salt, pepper, a little bit of vinegar and oil. That's going to be our marinade to give it some flavor. And then we're going to grill these. It's real simple. And then we also need our skewers. So our skewers are actually going to be marinating or soaking, so to speak, in some water. So I have some wood skewers that I'm soaking in water, and so that way when we put them on the grill, they don't burn. So I'm going to flip those over halfway through. Now, on those skewers, I'm going to cut up about 1-inch pieces of my chicken thighs. Now, did you notice I didn't clean off any of the fat? Well, they didn't either. It's one of the things I asked them, do you leave the fat on, do you clean it off? They go, why take it off? It's all the flavor. I was like, hey, this is why I'm eating here right now. And it was beautiful. We're over by the beach. You're walking along the pinchos. And they also had the ice guy. He was bringing out ice. Now, remember, this is January, and they were selling us ices, which was really cool in itself. One thing about Puerto Rico is a lot of national foods down there that we got to try because I went down there with him to see him. And they were just incredible. So here we are. We're just cutting up into cubes our chicken, and then we're going to marinate it. So I think that's enough for what we're doing today. And I love chicken thighs. They do this dish with pork also. At those stands, you'll find things like bacalaíto, which is fried bacala crisps about the size of a Frisbee, pressed down really, really thin. Incredible. Think fried foods and think marinated foods. That's what you find a lot of. And sometimes the marinated stuff into the fried food. Incredible. Anyway, so we have our chicken. Let's make our marinade. And that's going to be really simple. As long as I'm plugged in. Hold on a second. You need to plug yourself in sometimes. And then what we're going to do with this dish is marinate it for about 20 minutes. Make sure we're working. We're working. A little bit of garlic, because they love garlic down there. Just a little bit to create actual paste. And the way that it's traditionally made is they use a mortar and pestle. And they take garlic and salt. Those are the two main ingredients. And as you're looking at this going, whoa, that's a lot of garlic, that's a lot of salt. And they start by making a paste, and they take a little bit at a time, and they just get that garlic and salt together. It kind of crushes it together. Then they add some black pepper. And depending where you go on the island, it changes as far as what you use for that. Some parts of the island actually use what's similar to a barbecue sauce on their pinchos. So we'll get that all. So we have some vinegar in here, we have black pepper, and we have garlic. And then we're going to add a bunch of oil into this mix. And then this is going to be our marinade for here. If you like to add other spices, you can do that also. But I really like the whole garlic feel of it. I'm telling you, my brother and I, we just devoured half of this stuff by ourselves. There you go. It's like this garlic paste that's going to be around the chicken. All right, so we got that going. We're going to get that little garlic paste over the chicken. Look at that. Oh. All right, for those of you who love garlic, you're in love with me right now. Those of you who don't, change the channel, because I'm not changing what I'm doing. And we're going to let that marinate for about 20 minutes. You could go a little bit longer if you want. Don't go too long. You got the vinegar in there. That actually starts to cook the meat in a process that's similar to a ceviche. It's not a lot of vinegar, but you'll see that it starts getting the outside a little bit on the tougher side. So we're going to let that marinate, let that kind of hang out till we get to our next step. In the meantime, another dish we had was Arroz con Gandules. Another spot that I had my dad take me to was up in the mountains where row upon row of place was restaurant after restaurant. And not a restaurant that you might normally think of. They more look like outdoor restaurants. Every place had a full pork on a spit rotisserie where they were just cutting meat off of it. Again, oh my Lord, I wish I could show you how to do that. But we can't do it. One of the dishes they had as a side dish was arroz con gandules. While that marinates, what I'm going to do is get our ingredients together. So I'm going to do really quickly. We got peppers, we got onions, we got this sazon seasoning, which is cilantro, a little cilantro seasoning or dry coriander. We have the pigeon peas. We're going to put a little bit of a paste into there, and our rice. Rice with pigeon peas, and we might even add in some of our chicken. We also have some country ham to add to that. So do not go away, because once I get back, we're going to start putting this together, skewering our chicken, getting that on the grill. It's going to be an amazing Puerto Rican dish. Don't go away. Hey everybody, welcome back to A Culinary Journey. So I've got a couple of things that I'm working on right now, because this is a culinary journey to Puerto Rico. Again, went to visit, fell in love with the place, and fell in love with the food. So I've got pinchos and pinchos de pollo. That's what's working here. And then we're going to do arroz con gandules. Gandules are these pigeon peas. They're small little peas. They resemble green peas, but they almost look a little like lentils when they're cooked up. And then I'm going to be grilling them on this pan, but I don't want to touch that pan. I don't want to get too hot. So I'm going to turn this down to, I got it nice and smoky. I'm going to turn it down to low so that gives us a chance to let that cool off just a little bit. I made some extra. Now you could do it on the skewers like I have here. These were marinated in all that garlic. You guys remember me making that garlic paste? Marinated in that garlic paste, pepper, a little bit of vinegar to give it almost a barbecue feel. And like I said, different parts of Puerto Rico, they actually almost do a barbecue sauce. And you could just do the whole thing without the skewers, and it'd be a great dish to work with. So I want to get my rice going. So here's what I'm going to do for my rice. I started cutting up my peppers. I'm going to cut up an onion. First, I want to take my ham. Now, most of the recipes call for a country ham. If you get a nice kind of, whether it's smoky or not smoky, you can pretty much use almost any ham. This is a fleur-de-lis ham that I use. It's similar to a country ham. As fact, it has a lot of flavor, but it's not quite as dry. So we're going to cook out some of the moisture from here. And I want to get it nice and crispy and golden brown. So we're going to get this in the pan. Now, because it has a lot of fat on it still, I'm going to salt it. By salting it, I'm going to extract enough of the juice and oil that I can to get in here. This is where if you had some bacon fat lying around, that doesn't hurt either. So we'll get that in our pan. And the ham is a big part of the arroz con pollo. The arroz con gandules. If you were doing it with chicken, the main ingredient would be the chicken arroz con pollo you could find around there too, and that has some nice seasonings. They use a seasoning that is cilantro and annatto seeds, and I'll kind of like show you what that looks like. It gives the color of the rice, and I usually buy them in these little packages. But if you have, when it says cilantro, it really means dry coriander that's crushed down with annatto seeds. Again, you could pulse them yourselves, but they're everywhere on the shelves around here, but pretty much anywhere you could go, you'll find it. Always use a wooden spoon for this rice. That's what they always ask for. And they say it actually makes it taste better. You know, it's funny because there's a lot of techniques that whether you're in a different country, I grew up knowing that when you make a risotto, you always have to use a wooden spoon. It actually makes it taste better. Could be a wise tale. I don't want to ever try not to because, you know, I'll have someone like my dad tell me that I did it wrong. But we're gonna just get these nice and brown. Kick up the heat on that just a little bit. Hold on the annatto. While that's working, I'm going to get the onion ready. And we're just going to cut into it and make a nice small dice of the onion. Now, most rice dishes, like this one, is using a medium grain rice. I bought a rice that was specific to Spanish cuisine or South American cuisine. And you'll find that in pretty much any section of the supermarket. It's readily available. And that was the cool thing about coming back here and trying to redo this. It was pretty easy to do. It was ingredients that I could find anywhere. And even in a town like New Hampshire, Keene, New Hampshire, where there's not a big Puerto Rican or Hispanic population, you're able to still find these ingredients and work with them. So we got our ham cooking in. Probably want to cook that just a little bit more because I really want that to have a lot of flavor with the rice. I want to kind of, when I bite into this, I want to get that ham, I want to get the onions, I want to get the peppers going in there. But while it's cooking, I'm going to add some of the peppers in here. And then some of our onion. We'll save some of this for another time. There you go. Gives us a lot of onion left over. And we're going to let that cook down until it's translucent. While that's cooking down, let me bring up the flame under our grill a little more, right? And then what we're going to do with this is we're going to start grilling our pinchos. Let's get those on the grill. Remember we soaked, make sure this is, oh yeah, that's going to get a nice grill. And then since I have even more of that, let me get the rest of this on. We'll get another piece on. Remember, if you like garlic, this is for you. If you don't, the barbecue idea is not a bad one. You want to get a little bit of vinegar into it because you want it to have a little bit of acidity to it. But the fat is really important. We want to make sure that fat's on there. It's all going to cook down on the grill. They usually do them on open grills. When you get there, the best part about this is when you get there, everything's outside. There's no such thing as an indoor kitchen where no one sees. That grill was sitting outside of the restaurant. It was really cool. And I'm looking at it going, I feel like I'm at someone's backyard. And the food that came off of it was incredible. And they all come after you. They're like, you want to try some? You want to try? And I was like, yes. And I made my dad buy them all for me. So we're going to just cook this down. We're going to get the hams really cooking down, a lot of flavor. Put a little salt in there. Be careful with your salt content because there is a little salt in the Sazon seasoning. And we want to make sure it's not overly salted. And remember, your ham could, as it gets more cooked, it's going to get more concentrated in its salt. So we have that grilling down. Let's get this up all the way. Are you up all the way? Yeah. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to kind of speed the process along. We're going to add our seasoning packet, which will give a ton of flavor to what we're doing. And we'll mix that in. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. The color is going to be nice and rich and dark. All right? Now you're wondering, when's the rice going to end up in here? Well, don't worry, it's going to get there because that's the easy part. We'll do a little bit of tomato paste. I'm going to cook that down. We want the tomato paste to incorporate with the vegetables and the ham, and it's going to cook a little bit and give it almost that little charred tomato flavor. The idea of cooking down on the island is getting a lot of flavor out of every ingredient you put in there so that when you went back to it, you're like, wow, this is incredible. So we're going to get that in there. And then we have our pigeon peas. So we'll drain our can. And again, they're dark like a lentil. Not something I found dry very often, but what you're able to do is find a good amount of pigeon peas. Probably just 2 cans might be too much, so we'll save them. But they're a little bit darker like a lentil. Let me bring them over here so everyone can see them. And they're just about the size of regular peas, a little bit flatter, almost like a donut flatness. Look at that. We got all that in there. This is going to be great. Now let's get some of our peas in there. probably all we need. When's the rice going in, Luca? When's the rice? Don't worry, the rice is going in. They told me how to do this. I know what I'm doing. It's going to be fun. All right, so the rice is in there. Let's take a look at our chicken. Oh, yeah. This is going to be good. Now, like I said, you could let it marinate more than about 20 minutes. I recommend not too much more, maybe an hour and a half at tops. Don't let them sit overnight, but you're going to have all that garlic flavor in there. And again, you could pretty much use anything for a marinade. So in here we have our peas, we have our tomato paste, and we have our ham. Here we're going to add our rice, which is about 1.5 cups of the rice, and we're going to do the exact same amount of water. Now, it's important that you actually toast the rice a little bit. Not where you're going to cook it all the way through, but you really want it to get a little brown and incorporated with everything. You're not going to be just throwing rice into boiling water. It's going the other way around. You're throwing cold water into rice that's already got heat to it with all the ingredients. All right? And as this blooms, we're going to get a ton of flavor out of the rice. A lot like risotto does, where you kind of toast it. Again, it took me back when I started learning about these things, about some of the different things you could do, techniques that are done all the way across the world that are very similar in different parts with using what they do. Now, the difference with risotto, we put in water a little bit at a time, or stock. And by doing that, we get this nice fluffy rice, a creamy rice. Here, we don't have to do that. Now we're just toasting it. And part of the best part about this, and this is a tradition there, is the crunchy rice that's on the bottom. And we're going to let this get a little bit of crunchiness to it, too. So we have all our ingredients in there. Look how beautiful that color is. We've got our chicken going. And here we go, adding our water into the rice. Now all I have to do is let this cook for about 10 minutes, and I want to get it to a nice boil. I want it to incorporate all the flavors. About 10 minutes here to the boil, and then I'm going to let it sit for about 15 minutes. So what we're going to do is take a quick break. Let this thing come together. It's on high heat. We're going to get a boil on it because we're going to get a cover on there. We're going to let that rice steam into the water and then come together. So let's let that cook. When I come back, the chicken will be almost done. Clear my board, and we're going to have some amazing Pinchos con Pollo and Arroz con Gandules. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back on our culinary journey through Puerto Rico. We're doing Arroz con Gandules with some country ham in there. We got that cooking up here. Look at that. It's starting to get nice and coming together and doubling and tripling in size. I'm leaving some of the, I'm not trying to touch the bottom because I want to get it a little bit of crunchy. I added just a little bit more water. Most of the recipes I saw were about the same amount. I'm going to go probably 2.5 cups might be a little bit better. And if you see that you've gotten to this point and it's getting too dry, add a little more stock or water. It's going to be fine. You're going to actually do wonderful. So we have that going on. We have our chicken here. I definitely took a bite of it just to try because that's what I do. And it is incredible. So let's get this on a plate right over here. Show you the pinchos. And they serve just like that, but we're going to also serve some with our arroz con gandules. That's why I got these other two pieces here. Now, one of the things is when you start to see that, I'm going to move this over. When you start to see me put that amount of garlic on there, first thing you're thinking too, it's going to be really acidic and garlicky. It's really not. Actually, the garlic cooks off, grills off really nicely, stays in the pan. The next thing you put on there, if you don't clean the pan, tastes delicious. Just letting you know. All right, so let's get our rice too. We've got our medium grain rice, and we got oh man, this smells wonderful. And I made a lot, that's for sure. But let's say this was a little side dish. If you put some chicken in here, it's arroz con pollo, and you could do all different stuff. And then here's how I'm going to finish this dish is by putting some of this chicken over the top. Look at that. That's nice grilled chicken. Oh, marinated in the garlic, the chicken thighs. You can do this with pork also. Again, keep the fat on because there's tons of flavor. And then a little bit of fresh cilantro right on there. It tells you in most of the recipes I've seen, it actually adds it to the dish even early on. Not me. I want that flavor to just pop. I want it just to hit. So these are, I'm a happy man. You know, I got to get back down there and visit my dad. It's too long to get down there. And once I did, I realized hey, the food's great. Oh, wait, I got to see my dad, too. No, that was the best part. Seeing him and his family down there, it's just been incredible. So I hope you get a chance to discover an island like that and go off the beaten path and check it out, because what you're going to get is food that's incredible, maybe a little scary, but incredible. Hey, I'll see you next time on our culinary journey.